This is the Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare Iceberg. From unused content to the very obscure details of the lore. This iceberg is labeled with the most well-known Garden Warfare facts at the top, and the most unknown and obscure facts at the bottom. I'm including some facts from Battle for Neighborville because this was another Plants vs. Zombies shooter in my opinion worth mentioning. I could have called this the Plants vs. Zombies shooter iceberg, but that doesn't have a really good ring to it. And yes, I made this iceberg. This video will be long, so get comfortable. Let's explore the Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare iceberg and see how deep it can go. Backyard Battleground. This is the main hub area of Garden Warfare 2. Plants on one side and zombies on the other. There's actually a lot of things to do, such as story missions, side quests, flag of power, delivery missions, target practice, and promoting your characters. It's also a map and multiplayer for the mystery portal modes, but this is very rare. Nonetheless, still a fantastic map with a lot to do. Boss Mode. It's a class in Garden Warfare 1 where you operate a blimp or flying RV as Crazy Dave or Dr. Zomboss. You don't really do much except help out your team with healing, spotting, reviving, and bomb strikes. You get more currency the better your team performs too. Most of the time, Boss Mode's really boring, so only a few people really play this. Boss Mode is missing on the PS3 and the Xbox 360 builds too. Pogo P. It's basically a pea shooter player who will just keep jumping with hyper to avoid getting shot by the enemy. It's really hard to win a fight with them, and it's very annoying that they can't just stay on the ground in a gunfight. Unicorn Chomper. It's the rarest character in Garden Warfare 2 and only a few people own him. You used to be able to unlock him through the loyalty rewards by maxing out your Garden Warfare 1 profile. The deadline was February of 2017 to get to 313. If you don't own him, you can still technically play as him in the mystery portal modes. He's basically a regular chomper with a warp ability. He also makes a cameo in Battle for Neighborville as a hat that can only be unlocked in the Founders Edition. Legendary characters. They are rare characters that you can unlock in the sticker shop in Infinity Time. They consist of Iron Citron, Toxic Brains, Disco Chomper, Computer Scientist, Party Citron, Party Rose, Party Corn, Party Brains, Party Imp, Captain Partyman, Commando Corn, and Scallywag Imp. They're very hard to get, and sometimes you need to keep buying sticker packs to eventually unlock them, or take multiple trips to Infinity Time. Getting these characters is a huge grind, and you'd be lucky to even get a piece at all. Battle for Neighborville Sprint. There is no running in any of the Garden Warfare games, but Battle for Neighborville is the only game where all the characters can sprint. Some don't like this sprinting feature as people can go really fast and can easily escape gunfights or just avoid getting killed. Torchwood and Hovergoat. They are the extra Garden Warfare 2 characters that are rewards for completing all the Trials of Nomus challenges. Unfortunately, they never got their own variants, but they did get a few skins from Rux's shop. You can also buy them with real money, which I don't personally recommend. Sponsored characters. They were characters that were only in Garden Warfare 1, and they were used to promote a company or brand. For example, Aquafina sponsored Berry Shooter and Citrus Cactus, and Frito-Lay sponsored Chester Chomper and Dr. Chester. They also had exclusive abilities like Cheesy Goop, Chester Weeds, Cheetah Heal Station, Cheeto Bombs, and Cheesy Warp. They were actually good characters, it's just a shame they couldn't be in Garden Warfare 2. Mid-air burrow. It's a phenomenon where a chomper burrows and the zombie gets away by flying away or is in mid-air, and the burrow animation still happens and the chomper still gets the kill. Nobody can really explain why this happens. I guess it's more of a latency issue. Regardless, mid-air burrows cause probably the most rage quits I've ever seen on Garden Warfare. What? Slenderman in Garden Warfare 1. This is one of the most famous Easter eggs in Garden Warfare. If you go to the Zomboss Estates and look through some of the trees in the wooded area, you'll find Slenderman. I'm not sure why the dev team decided to put him in, especially for a game aimed towards a younger audience. Maybe because of the Slender trend at the time, who knows. In later updates, it's shown that the Slenderman is still there, except this time he's getting eaten by a chomper. Everlasting Crown. This is the most expensive hat in the game. It costs exactly 200 stars through the gnome chest to unlock the hat. Basically, the hat will announce any activity you are doing, like comment on how many kills you're getting, reviving people, taunting a nemesis, naming your boasts, and counting bosses in ops mode. It's a hat that the devs put the most detail in, and it has a lot of voice lines. The voice actor for the Everlasting Crown is actually unknown. I couldn't find it anywhere online. If somebody knows, let me know in the comments. Engineer has different abilities. So Engineer's Y ability always changes in each game. In Garden Warfare 1, he has a Zombot drone. In Garden Warfare 2, he has a shooting turret. In Battle for Neighborville, he has a buff turret. Battle for Neighborville also gave Engineer a speed launch pad, as the jackhammer became part of his sprinting animation. I don't know why Engineer specifically is always getting changed with new game entries, but he just does. Wolfie Plays. He's a YouTuber who made really popular Garden Warfare 2 content. He currently has over 300,000 subscribers, and to this day, he's a big influence on the Garden Warfare community. I still collab with him on Plants vs. Zombies and other games along with BobBox999. He also swears a lot more in his videos than I do. Poop emoji. It's an emoji in Battle for Neighborville that can be unlocked through the Winter Prize map. It's mostly used in-game just to talk smack, especially to troll in Battle Arena. Standing on drones. This is something you can do with a drone or a parrot. You can stand on top of the drone, and the drone will fly you up to a higher spot or help you with an aerial attack. It's sometimes really hard to do. You'd be lucky that you don't fall off the drone at all, as it's a lot harder to stand on a drone in Garden Warfare 2. ZPG jump shots. This happens when you play as a foot soldier. When you rocket jump and shoot a rocket in the air and get a kill, it's considered a jump shot. I've seen way too many of these clips of jump shots, it just shows how common they are. Everybody does this. Zach Scott. Another YouTuber who's covered everything in Plants vs. Zombies. You'll see his videos in the algorithm whenever you look up videos of Garden Warfare 2 or any other Plants vs. Zombies game. His style of videos are rough cut edits of the entire gameplay. He got a lot of views back in the day and still occasionally plays Plants vs. Zombies too. He has over 1,000 videos on this game, are you kidding me? Team swap glitch. It's a glitch where you can play as a plant on the zombies team or a zombie on the plant team. Every game had their own version of the team swap glitch, and it would eventually get patched by the developers. It is possible to still perform the team swap glitch in the backyard, but it's really complex and I don't know how to do it. Sewerfish. It's a live fish in the sewers where you can trade 5 stars in exchange for 750 XP. The game tips warn you about giving your stars to the fish because it has a star addiction. The reason being, as if you could trade your stars with a maxed out character, you pretty much just waste your stars and don't get any XP anymore. The star addiction thing is probably just a kid-friendly reference to drugs. Targeters. They're just trolls who just want to ruin the experience for other people in the game. They have one objective, and it's just to kill and teabag you over and over again. It most commonly happens to streamers and content creators. They can be annoying, and they do this just for attention, and if you're one of these people, consider your life choices. Chompers removed in Battle for Neighborville. Yeah, so Chomper had a lot of bugs in Battle for Neighborville where the developers had to temporarily remove him. I don't know how this happened, but I'm not really surprised, because Battle for Neighborville was more bugs than game. Plants vs. Zombies house in Garden Warfare 2. On the map Zomburbia, at the starting point on the plant team, there's a house in the back with a familiar lawn, lawnmowers, RV, and hedges. It confirms the Plants vs. Zombies 1 house is still intact and well. It just goes to show you how much details the development team put to pay their homage to their older games. Unused bosses. Garden Warfare 2 had so many unused bosses. There's an imitator boss that was almost 100% complete, but never made it to the final game due to the game's budget. There was also a lot of boss hunts that never made it to the final game. The Super Chili Bean had a complete model, but it was scrapped probably because it was too similar to the regular Super Bean. Then there are some bosses that have very little left over in the game's files, such as Beatboxer, Fiddles the Crab, and this orange juice box robot. It sucks that we couldn't have gotten more boss hunts to the game, but it had to have been cut due to the lack of funding or the idea being way too ambitious for the team. Bean jump. This happens when you're a pea shooter. This happens when you're in hyper and then you jump and throw a chili bean bomb at the same time. It would make the pea shooter jump farther. Usually I would just throw the chili bean bomb farther, but I end up flying with it by accident. I'm not sure if this was supposed to be in the game or if it's a glitch. It's most likely a glitch, but I see a lot of sweaty players use the bean jump. Super bean glitch. Sometimes when fighting the Super Bean boss, when he starts shooting his death ray, he turns invisible, making it impossible to hit him. This is a glitch that is very common, and it just makes fighting the Super Bean boss a lot more harder than he already is. Skids. Skids are PC hackers who also like to ruin people's fun on Garden Warfare 2, but they take it to the extreme. They have the ability to crash lobbies, use cheats in multiplayer, and can even go as far to ban your account for no reason. They're pretty much the reason EA stepped in to create an anti-cheat software, which didn't work. These guys are also degenerates, so be careful when playing PC Garden Warfare 2. Easter eggs. Like the Slender Man Easter egg, Garden Warfare 2 has so many Easter egg references to other games. You can see the bookworm from Bookworm Adventures spray painted on the wall. There's a distant island referencing The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, and there's a box head for the engineer that represents Minecraft. There's a Night on Seeds of Time by the campfire that represents Dark Souls. There's definitely a lot more that I didn't mention that are in this game, but I just only named a few of them. Frosty upgrade. This is an add-on upgrade for Garden Warfare 2 that allows you to buy extra Rux abilities and Toxic Brains and Iron Citron with real money. This was a very controversial add-on, and PopCap and EA got some backlash for this. It was unfair that some people had to grind and get these legendary characters, meanwhile they gave you a much easier way to unlock them. This got people to start to believe that Garden Warfare 2 is becoming a game that was a pay-to-win. Morph glitch. This was another visual glitch that usually takes place in multiplayer where you see two characters in one. It makes the character look very distorted and sometimes can be very distracting for some people. It's a funny glitch, but it can also be an annoying one. Apparently it's very easy to do, but I never got around to trying it myself. Gravedigger. It's one of the most famous unreleased characters for the zombies. It would have been the healing class for the zombies before it was replaced by the scientist. It had a shield to block projectiles and had the ability to summon AI zombies and could throw hand grenades. It was scrapped due to the team not being able to come up with ideas for variants. It was planned to be a boss for the zombies too until it was scrapped and then replaced with Baron Von Bats. We can still see the Gravedigger model stuck in a capsule in the Z-Tech factory. Island and Driftwood Shores. Yeah, for some reason on Driftwood Shores there was a distant island. If you keep aiming left with the cannon on the way to the Mega Flower and you land on this random island in the distance. I don't know why this island is here, I guess it would just be used for a sniping spot. It's not really a good sniping spot because there's no way to make it back to the game unless you respawn or die. Power Lily. It was a scrapped plant bot that had the ability to buff nearby plants and have them do more damage. There was another plant that did the opposite and decreased the damage for the zombies called Magnifying Glass. These plants were cut for unknown reasons. Zombies and gravity grenades. This is a glitch where zombies would sometimes get stuck in the imp's gravity grenade despite being on the same team. I don't know why this happens, and sometimes it just happens out of complete random. Renegade Imp. It was a scrapped Imp variant. It was also planned to be its own story boss hunt, but it was also scrapped. The mech would have had cannons that shot a lot of missiles and shoot zombie stink clouds and gravity grenades. Why he was cut is unknown, probably to work on the imitator boss instead, who was also cut. Taco Bandits. It was an exclusive mode to Garden Warfare 1. It contained plants defending tacos to win, and zombies needing to capture 3 tacos in order to win. You can also summon plant pots and brown coats to help you out. It was actually an underrated game mode, and it was one of my favorites. Unfortunately, it couldn't hold more than 8 players per team. The developers sort of brought this back in Garden Warfare 2 called Capture the Taco. It was just like Taco Bandits, except there were no spawnables, and the plants and zombies were both on the defense and the attack, so it was pretty much Capture the Flag. Garden Warfare 1 has the hardest ops. I think this is most likely true, especially on Crazy Mode. Garden Warfare 2's Crazy Mode isn't that bad, and Battle for Neighborville's bots are so easy it can be designed for 2-year-olds. On Garden Warfare 1, ops is extremely unforgiving. It only takes 2 or 3 brown coat hits to kill you. If you're playing solo on Crazy, good luck, because the only way I was able to beat this on solo is by camping with the most broken character at the time, Toxic P. Bonk Choi is OP. I'm referring here to the Garden Warfare 1 Bonk Choi. Bonk Choi's punches do 75 damage each, making 150 at a time. It can instantly kill most zombies and can instantly destroy zombie armor, making killing outhouses and coffin zombies in one hit. It even works better than the Fume Shroom and Goop Shrooms, which are designed to destroy zombie armor. So if someone on the other team is spamming coffins or outhouses, you know what to spawn. Bonk Choy isn't as effective in Garden Warfare 2, but in the first game he was a broken plant. Bobbox999. A small YouTuber who made Plants vs. Zombies a huge part of his content. He currently has 44,000 subscribers. Although not as big as Wolfie Plays, his most popular videos were glitch tutorials and fan-made minigames. He still makes Garden Warfare content to this day. Like I mentioned before, I collab with this guy alongside with Wolfie Plays. Unreleased Battle for Neighborville characters. Everyone knows that Battle for Neighborville stopped updating their game a year after its launch. But before its unexpected plug pull, the game was going to have new characters. One of them was called the Iceberg Lettuce. The model was almost complete, and it would have been the Ice class for the plant side. Another class that was scrapped was Berry Brigade. The model wasn't completed, but I guess this would have been another tank class for the plants. The final scrapped character is actually a playable gnome. Yeah, we could have actually been able to play as gnomes, which could have been really cool. I don't think he would have been playable in the main game, but it was speculated that he would be in a playable game mode called Gnome Tag. Unused loading music. Garden Warfare had a lot of scrapped music, and some are actually unused loading music. It's actually unknown why this was never used, because it actually sounds really good. Infinity Time Dev Room. I actually had no idea about this until now. Apparently when you spawn into Infinity Time before you officially start the game, go into the left into the small tunnel and you can find a room with all the developers' names written on the wall. It's actually a really cool Easter egg and I couldn't believe I missed it. Garden Warfare 2 plushies. You can see plushies scattered across gift shops and merch stores in-game, but surprisingly enough, most of these plushies were never actually made in real life. PopCap and EA did miss a big opportunity to create these in-game plushies as official merchandise, and it would have made them a lot more money. I'm surprised they never went through with this. Under the map glitch, aka cheating. So if you do a collision off glitch, you can explore underneath the map and shoot people from below the map. The enemies can't really shoot you back because of a collision detection, so this is pretty much them cheating. It's most common on the final part of Moonbase Z, and if you're one of these people who do this, I hate you. Electro Brains was broken. Yeah, so in beta and briefly during the 2016 launch of Garden Warfare 2, Electro Brains was the most broken character in the game. His Electro Beam had the capability to do more damage to the plants that the electricity chain to make easy kills for him. Eventually, PopCap nerfed Electro Brains, and now his damage today is, well, mediocre. But yes, back in the day, Electro Brains was the best character in the game. Infinite Dark Flowers. This was another glitch that you could perform as a sunflower where you hang out by an edge and hold down the bumper to spawn in the dark flower. There would be no cooldown for your dark flower, so you could just keep spawning more. Eventually, there would be an entire army of dark flowers, making garden ops or multiplayer easier. This glitch was patched because I think this strategy was very broken. Imp had 50 HP. So in beta and during launch, Imp had very little health. He started off with 50 HP and he could be killed off easily. Another character, Rose, was actually pretty broken. Not only did her primary do a lot more, but she actually started off with 125 HP. Eventually the devs nerfed Rose and gave Imp a buff. Now today, Rose has 100 HP and Imp has 75 HP. They obviously made these changes for balancing purposes. Deadbeard x Rose. There is a theory going around where Captain Deadbeard has a crush on Rose. The only evidence we get is that there's a Rose plushie on his bed in the Deadbeard area. To me, this doesn't exactly mean he has a crush on her, but it is out of character for a zombie to own a plant toy. Maybe he's just a fan of her. I'll let you guys decide. Z7 Imp statue. When Garden Warfare 2 came out, GameStop had a promotion going on where if you bought the deluxe edition for Garden Warfare 2, you can also receive a limited edition physical Z7 Imp statue. It was a pretty big statue too. I used to own one, but I forgot what I did with it. They still exist out there, and I think a few are also on eBay. Zombopolis Tentacle. On the first part of the map Zombopolis, there is a Statue of Liberty of Dr. Zomboss. Eventually a big tentacle comes from the green water and wraps around the statue. I don't know why this is here, or even what the creature is. The game developers never really explained this. There are a few possible theories out there, but I almost never hear people talk about this tentacle. Goat Ganchuar. It's a boss that first appeared in the story mode on one of the Rose missions. It was just a big goat boss with blue fire coming from its head and a lot of HP. He's really easy to beat. He's pretty forgettable because of how easy the boss fight was, but there's actually 2 times he actually shows up in the game. The second time was in Infinity Time. Crazy Dave hates cats. It's a random fact that not a lot of people know about, but it does mention in Garden Warfare 2 Crazy Dave does hate cats. Nobody really knows why though, he just does. Rock P in Garden Warfare 1. Believe it or not, Rock P was planned to be in Garden Warfare 1. There was concept art of Rock P, but for some reason the devs decided to scrap this idea for the game. He was eventually brought back into Garden Warfare 2 because fans loved this idea so much. Prize Bulb exploits. Battle for Neighborville had a lot of XP exploits. XP can be used to unlock prize bulbs for you to redeem prizes within the prize map. There were a lot of ways to farm easy XP, and one of them involved an 80s action hero just stuck shooting rockets in a rocket ride and infinite spawning weeds. Of course the devs do not like these exploits and attempt to patch them, but there's still a lot more ways to farm XP. Cactus had 100 HP. So apparently in Garden Warfare 1's beta, Cactus started off with 100 HP. She later got buffed to 125 before the game's launch. They probably did this so the Cactus wouldn't be too easy to kill, because she does have a big hitbox. You can sort of see the Cactus have 100 HP today in Battle for Neighborville. Shark Chomper. I don't know for sure if Shark Chomper was going to even be a real character. There's only concept art of Shark Chomper. I'm not sure what his abilities would have been either. It would have been still a cool Chomper, but I guess the devs had no idea what to do with this idea. Menchie's sponsored Garden Warfare 2. Menchie's is a frozen yogurt company, and stores can be found mostly on the west coast of the United States. Menchie's actually sponsored Garden Warfare 2 near the beginning of its launch. There was a frozen citron in the game that gave you a side quest. He required you to run through a bunch of rings in the backyard with a time limit. By the time the quest was over, you were rewarded with a free $3 frozen yogurt from Menchie's. The coupon code would have been sent to you via email, and you had 72 hours to redeem it. If you didn't live near a Menchie's, this coupon was useless. IRL Battle for Neighborville hats. When PopCap used to stream on Twitch and give updates to Battle for Neighborville, one of the developers, Justin Weeb, was wearing a legendary hat for the Sunflower. It was handcrafted in real life. It's actually impressive, and I hope they still kept this. Battle for Neighborville trailer differences. The original trailer for Battle for Neighborville was leaked early by data miners, and since the actual trailer was released by the game's launch, there were a lot of differences between the actual trailer and the leaked trailer. The leaked trailer is still missing some shading, textures, lighting, and other details. It's pretty obvious that the leaked trailer would look like this because it wasn't done yet, and people just don't know how to wait. Zombies can transform the environment. Visually, it's common knowledge. The devs made the zombie territory purple, brown, dark, and bland to make it look gloomy and undead compared to the plant territories, which are bright green, blue, and happy. Lore-wise, the reason is darker. Zombies had the ability to alter the environment to become undead and zombified. This can be seen in the Garden Center now being Aqua Center, Suburbia now being Zomburbia, and parts of the background becoming zombified. This small detail in the games have a much darker theme than you realize. Zombot in Garden Warfare 1 trailer. If you've ever seen the E3 trailer for Garden Warfare 1, you may notice this at the end. Many people thought this would have been the final boss for Garden Warfare, but unfortunately it never made it to the game. However, there is a Zombot model available in the game's files. It was planned that there would have been a boss fight with the Zombot, with the boss having its own arena. It sucks that this was never finished. It would have been really cool. I believe this was cut due to the lack of funding to the game. Zoologist replaced Dr. Chester. This seems like a good theory. Dr. Chester and Zoologist are both up-close rapid-fire characters. It would make sense that they wanted the same type of character for their second game, but they couldn't use Dr. Chester, so I guess they settled with the Zoologist. Turkey Browncoats. This is the rarest spawnable in Garden Warfare. Every player first received turkey browncoats for Thanksgiving, but only got 10 of each. If you use all of them, they're gone forever. They don't really do much, they're just normal browncoats with turkeys for heads. But with very few of them, that just makes them the rarest spawnable in the game. Boss mode can instant kill the garden. Did you know that there's a glitch where boss mode can instantly kill the garden in Garden Ops? All you need to do is play boss mode, have one of your teammates plant a garden and drop a spawning station or heal flower on it, and it immediately kills the garden. It doesn't matter how much health it has, you will instantly lose. This glitch has never been patched, and this can be used to troll your friends. If you try doing this in a random lobby, everyone will probably hate you. Engineer's beta ability. Did you know that the engineer had a different ability in Garden Warfare 1's beta? His original ability was to spawn Zombot turrets. They're like the ones you see guarding your teleporter, but instead you can put them wherever you want. We could see the engineer use this in the original Garden Warfare 1 trailer. They later changed this to have engineers summon the Zombot drone instead to probably counter the cactus. Cryogenic zombies in Moonbase Z. On Moonbase Z, you see browncoats in cryogenic capsules. This was probably used for decoration for the map. But story-wise, it seems like Zomboss was trying to free some of his zombies for a later time period, possibly to finish terraforming the moon after they completely zombified the Earth. It's pretty morbid to think, and it makes you wonder what else Dr. Zomboss has planned. Scrapped Garden Warfare 2 variants. There were a lot of variants planned that never made it to the final game. A lot of them never made it past the concept stage, like Toxic Cactus and the Shark Chomper I mentioned earlier. There was also an earlier design for Super Brains that later changed into the Super Brains we know today. There isn't much information other than the concept art, but I'm sure the team had so many different ideas, but they never went through with most of them. Zombopolis Out of Bounds Train. So if you turn off collisions on Zombopolis in the train yard, you can notice that the train, after it goes into the tunnels of the map, apparently flies forever in the void of nothingness and never despawns. Even if it's really far away from the map, you can still see this train. Unused Crazy Dave model. Believe it or not, Crazy Dave does show up in the game. You can see him briefly driving the RV in the cutscenes of Garden Ops. However, there is an unused model of Dave in an idle animation. This model was probably not used because there wasn't much of a reason for Dave to appear in the game outside of driving the RV. Pea Shooter X Browncoat. If you go to the second location of Great White North, you will find a television. On the television, it's a pea shooter in a brown coat making out for some reason. Yep, nothing else about it, it just exists. Goat Tag. It was a scrapped mode where everyone would play as goats. There was a green one for plants and a purple one for zombies. Why it was cut is unknown. It's a shame too, because most of the Garden Warfare content we've covered on this iceberg so far had to have been scrapped either due to the idea being too ambitious or just not enough funding for the game. Zomburger is a chain. Zomburger is a fast food restaurant where they sell burgers, but they use brains as the burgers. It can be found in the Backyard Battleground, but there's another Zomburger that can be found on the map Zomburbia, confirming there's at least 2 locations of this restaurant. I can easily come to the conclusion that Zomburger is a fast food chain in the Plants vs. Zombies world. Brain Slug. This is the darkest side mission in all of Garden Warfare 2. I don't know how I missed this when I first played. The side missions begin when you interact with this foot soldier NPC. But you aren't actually talking to the foot soldier. You're actually talking to the brain slug that is attached to his head. The brain slug is described as an alien parasite that wishes to enslave the planet Earth and find new hosts to attach themselves to. The side mission is all about defeating plant champions, as they are getting in the way of the brain slug's plans. When you win the missions, the brain slug says to remind him to attach himself to your head when they begin enslaving the Earth. And when you defeat the final plant champion, the game rewards you with a brain slug hat that you can use to customize your soldier. Although it's just a hat in-game, in canon, the brain slugs are out there and infecting new hosts on the planet as we speak. Humans are endangered. Ever wonder where all the humans are in Plants vs. Zombies? Sure, there's Crazy Dave and this one human who appears in Battle for Neighborville, but where are the other humans? The towns and neighborhoods throughout the game are completely empty. Where is everybody? Sure, they could be under strict lockdown, but for how long? This looks like zombies completely took over the world for years now. There's no way humans can stay in a house for that long without going for food, water, or other essentials. What if I told you that I believe that humans are an endangered species in the Plants vs. Zombies world? Zombies have been slowly winning and killing off every human on the planet. It's evidence when you see the cutscene on the Daisy Drive map for Battle for Neighborville. Zomboss probably has other crazy schemes to get the humans' brains, and some of them actually succeed. If humans are still alive, there's probably not a lot of them left. All the zombies are clones. Ever wonder why every single zombie looks exactly the same? How can there be so many different types of zombies, yet each type looks exactly identical as the rest? Think about it. The browncoats wear exactly the same clothes, the exact same suit and tie, and the exact same rips in their clothes. It's not a coincidence that they all happen to look like that. Also, how can there be so many zombies if we keep killing millions of them per game? Surely there's not enough humans in the world to make more. The answer? Zombies are constantly being cloned by Dr. Zomboss. It's confirmed that Superbrains was made in a lab, so why not the rest of the zombies? All the zombies we fight in-game are clones of previous zombies that probably died a long time ago. Plants sexually reproduce. Although it is a fact in real life that plants do have the ability to reproduce sexually, I'm more referring to the game's canon. Take a look at the description for Fireflower. It's described that a fire pea and a sunflower went on a date one time and happened to make this. I'll let you fill in the rest of the blanks. Marigold is technically not a boss. Marigold in Graveyard Ops is supposed to be the counterpart for Treasure Yeti. Whenever you kill a Treasure Yeti, the XP tells you that you vanquished a zombie boss. However, when you vanquish the Marigold, it says you only vanquished a plant. It doesn't say anything about it being a plant boss. It could be a glitch, but since it was never patched, I can safely assume that the Marigold is not a plant boss in Garden Warfare 2. The same thing happens to the regular Squash. Scrapped Garden Warfare 1 iPad port. Apparently, there was going to be an iPad port of Garden Warfare 1 where you can take the game anywhere you go. Unfortunately, this never came out, and it's not clear why this was cut. But there is footage of Garden Warfare 1's iPad port from Apple WWDC 2014, and what this port could have been. We also do have this one screenshot of a different looking Super Commando soldier. So many people wanted to see this game on iOS, but it's a shame it was scrapped. Zomboss is corrupting the wildlife. It's no question that Zomboss is ruining the earth with the zombie terraforming, but he's also altering the wildlife and possibly zombifying some. We can see some fish in Aqua Center with mutated zombie heads and a skeleton of a fish somehow still alive. We can also see in Zomburbia the zoo attraction also mutated some of the animals such as giant beetles, giant scorpions, and an unknown animal we see in the shadows. It's actually really scary what Zomboss is actually doing behind the scenes. We see these animals all the time in game, but sometimes we don't even notice small details because we're so used to the map and just focus on the main objectives of the game. Citron's original primary. Citron used to have a semi-automatic gun before it was eventually changed into an ongoing orange laser. We can see him using this in the main trailer in the opening of Garden Warfare 2. Why this was changed was probably to counter the All-Star, and Citron was the tank character at the time of the game's launch. Ruck's T-pose glitch. Apparently there was a glitch where Rux could T-pose. I guess this can only happen if you are in a garlic drone or in a parrot and you are nowhere near Rux. I'm very sure this has been patched, but some people say you can still do this glitch. Scrapped Garden Warfare 1 classes. There were some classes and variants planned for Garden Warfare that never made it to the game. We briefly talked about Gravedigger and Rock P, but there is evidence that there was an engineer variant planned. Here is one image of a scrapped engineer found in the Garden Warfare 1 files called Carpenter. It was just an engineer with a white construction hat. It's unknown what Carpenter would have done, but there's evidence that this variant was planned. Also, we have concept art of the Zomboni class, a trash man, and some bosses were planned to become playable classes in Garden Warfare 1 too. Chomper originally had eyes. I don't even know if this was considered true, but there were some rumors about it. I guess this came from the cursed Chomper plushie that had eyes on it, and official concept art where Chomper actually does have eyes. This concept art, when developing Garden Warfare 1, makes Chomper a lot more disturbing. I'm pretty sure this was made as a joke because this would have made a lot more sense to create Chomper without eyes like in the original Plants vs. Zombies. But could you imagine having a game where Chomper actually does have eyes? I guess we could use these sunglasses for Chester Chomper, so I guess that's close enough. Garden Warfare 1 Cheetos controversy. Back when the Cheetos promotion came out for Garden Warfare 1, the characters weren't originally for free. You would have had to purchase real Cheetos from Target, and inside the Cheetos bags would have been codes to unlock Chester Chomper and Dr. Chester. Seems reasonable enough. The only problem was they didn't make enough Cheetos promotion bags to send them all to different targets. Where I was from, there were nowhere to be found and not a single promotion bag. They just weren't produced enough. Some people on forums were outraged, saying their Target store didn't have the bags, and some people even said that there wasn't even a Target store in their country. It was actually unfair how such a minority of people were able to get these characters and not anyone else. PopCap and EA got so much backlash that they ended up coming out and said that their friend Chester Cheetah will give everybody the promotional characters for free. Yeah, way to dodge a bullet there, guys. Apparently when Aquafina characters came out, they were completely free. So if the Aquafina characters were originally free, why not the Cheetos characters? It could have been a contract thing signed with Frito-Lay, but either way the whole promotion thing wasn't working out, so they just gave up on this plan altogether. King Nomus's identity. King Nomus is a mysterious character. He is the antagonist of the Infinity Time mode, and supposedly you get to fight him every 5 waves. Or so you think. Every time you think you've killed King Nomus, he comes out saying you've killed an imposter. The question comes out to, who really is King Nomus? Is it the gnome who is talking to you? Is King Nomus even real at all? There's not that much information about him, so I guess we'll never know for sure. Imp abuse. Through all the games, we've seen many imps getting mistreated. In Garden Warfare 1, every single imp explodes and used as kamikaze weapons. In Garden Warfare 2, we see imps being subjected to mundane tasks such as operating factories, being Zomboss's stepstool, and used as attractions for zoos and ant farms. Imps really have it rough, and it's just the imps that get this treatment. I guess in the zombie army, imps are considered the most inferior, I guess because of their size. Brain Street. It was a scrapped map that would have been a zombified version of Main Street from Garden Warfare 1. There are screenshots of this map that actually do exist. I guess why this map never was officially made was that they later turned this concept into creating Zombopolis instead. Mushroom class planned for Garden Warfare 2. Before Torchwood and Hovergoat came out, people were theorizing a mushroom was going to be the next plant class in Garden Warfare 2. It never really came to be though. We thought it was going to be a playable Hypnoshroom, Scaredy Shroom, or even this guy in the concept art named Mushroom Man. Eventually though, we did get a new character in Battle for Neighborville named Nightcap. Sports Juice. It was a planned ability for the All-Star if he drank a substance known as sports juice. He would turn into an incredible Hulk and would have the strength to rip plants apart. This never really made it past the concept phase because I guess this would have been way too OP because All-Star already was a powerful tank class. Colonel Corn has post-traumatic stress disorder. It's a fact that Colonel Corn was fighting overseas during the events of Garden Warfare 1, but in the story missions for Colonel Corn, his home was filled with all things relating to war, almost no decorations or anything that resembles a real home. Citron and Rose's locations both look like they'd be very comfortable to stay in, but it seems like Colonel Corn chooses to live this way. It's actually really sad. Garden Warfare 1 SWAT Soldier. Supposedly there was a soldier class that would have been a SWAT soldier. You could see what he would have looked like in the concept art. I guess they decided to scrap him because of how serious the soldier looked. I guess he was replaced with different versions of soldiers that would have made him look more cartoony. Heal station kills. Apparently the zombie heal station can kill plants. It's extremely hard to do, but it's possible. The heal station can only do 1 damage to HP, so it can kill you if you have 1 HP left. This is technically the hardest and rarest way to kill a plant in the game. Garden Warfare 2 Alpha Screenshots. Discovered from Reddit, there were screenshots of early Garden Warfare 2 development. One of the brown coats with a flag and the rest were early 3D designs of the backyard battleground. These images came from either late 2014, early 2015. I'm surprised this even got leaked at all because Garden Warfare 2 was kept a huge secret for so long after Garden Warfare 1. Naked Crazy Dave. There is a very rare victory slab in Battle for Neighborville, and it can only be unlocked in the Founders Edition. It's a victory slab of Crazy Dave taking a shower. He has no clothes on, and the only thing that is censoring him is a bunch of bath bubbles. So yes, there is a drawing of naked Crazy Dave in a Plants vs. Zombies game. I wish I didn't have to know that. Animal abuse in Plants vs. Zombies. We briefly talked about what Zomboss does to the wildlife on Earth, which was mutating and zombie altering them. But what about the animals that Zomboss does not zombify? Well, they're used as zombie weapons. Skunks, dolphins, porcupines, and seagulls are used as weapons against their will. They are forced to spit out projectiles, and they can't really do anything about it. That's actually really dark considering that this is a game towards a younger audience, but yes, there is evidence that zombies abuse animals throughout the Plants vs. Zombies games. Plasma P commits genocide. In Plasma P's description, it's described that every single Plasma P that is fired contains trillions of stars and galaxies, as if each Plasma P contains an entire universe full of intelligent life forms. Every P fired kills off trillions of galaxies and eradicates them into nothing. This type of power is godly, and just to think the next time you play Plasma P, you are canonically killing off trillions of intelligent beings, stars, galaxies, and possibly even universes. Probably the worst type of genocide that can be described in any media whatsoever. Gas prices in Plants vs. Zombies. This is a small detail, but if you take a look at the Garden Warfare 1 map, Chomp Town, gas prices are insanely high. $9.99 for a gallon. That's honestly ridiculous. It's no wonder why they're always fighting and Plants vs. Zombies are always at war with each other. Garden Warfare 3 prototype. I don't think Garden Warfare 3 was ever officially planned to my knowledge, but there was a leaked early test footage of a Plants vs. Zombies shooter. People assumed that this would have been a Garden Warfare 3 as a prototype. However, this was later debunked to be an early prototype for Battle for Neighborville. If a Garden Warfare 3 ever existed, it's possible it never made it past the concept phase, but it was considered once upon a time. Unused Browncoat Boss. So Garden Warfare 2's Infinity Time had some scrapped bosses, and a giant browncoat with a cone head and a door shield was found in the game's files. It would have behaved just like a normal browncoat boss, but you would be fighting it in an Infinity Time mech instead. This was probably cut because the boss was probably too easy. The flies on Chomp Thing are birds. If you look at Chomp Thing, you would assume that the little flying things around him are flies, but fun fact, if you take a closer look at them, they're actually not flies. They are birds. I don't know why birds were used instead of flies. I guess it was just a model that was previously used. The devs probably assumed nobody would notice. We do have the model textures of the birds around Chomp Thing. Plants and zombies destroyed space and time. On maps like Time Park and Seeds of Time, all of history was altered to be plants and zombies themed. The dinosaurs are plant themed dinosaurs, and the zombies have statues in ancient Egypt and Rome. Crazy Dave has a mummy tombs, and Dr. Zomboss has his own Julius Caesar statue. These were all the consequences of time traveling. Plants and zombies don't care what time period they happen to fight in. It didn't matter to them. They even tried to steal time shards from King Nomus, the ultimate time gods of the universe. The timeline in Plants vs. Zombies was permanently retconned and altered due to the excessive time travel to the point where human history was changed forever. And finally, Chomp Virus. It was a scrapped Garden Warfare 1 mode where everyone on the plant team was a chomper and needed to kill off all the zombies. Every time a zombie on the team dies, they would have to switch over to the plant side to join the chompers to kill off all the zombies. The way the zombies would win was to find an antidote to cure the Chomp Virus. This concept was just like the infected mode from Halo, but it was unfortunately scrapped. It's a shame, really. We have models of the antidote of the zombies in the game's files. Fans would often recreate the infected mode in Garden Warfare 2, but little did they know this mode was real and planned from the very beginning. But unfortunately, just like all the other unused content on this iceberg, Chomp Virus never came to be. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of the Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare iceberg. I hope you all enjoyed watching this because this was pretty long to make and it was actually a ton of fun to research. If you want to see another iceberg I've made one for shotgun farmers. I'll put that in the description down below. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.